Many moons ago, Varendia was once a sprawling mass of land with bountiful resources, inhabited by both Vanai and man. The Vanai, relentless and greedy in their quest for knowledge, drew upon these resources to experiment with powers far beyond their understanding. Angered by their arrogance, the gods banished them and shattered Varendia into pieces, marring each with a different curse. Vanai faded from history, and man was left to inherit the punishment. Centuries of chaos and fright ensued, and from the darkness, heroes were forged. You are one of the few willing to brave the unforgiving threats of each region in search of a cure for Varendia's curses. Your adventure begins in Westmire, a region slowly crumbling under the rift, an unholy gateway to the Nether Realm. You will need to challenge and defeat the Rift Lord to purge Westmire of its curse. Should you survive, remember that it's just the first of many cursed regions. Your quest is far from over. Your journey will be fraught with peril, but you will have might and magic on your side. The nights will be cold, but your trusted companions will keep you warm. Your enemies will be strong, but in time, you can grow stronger. Now, gather your wits and steel your courage. Your Gordian quest is about to begin.
I am a former soldier in the Royal Army of the capital, now wandering the realms as an adventurer, seeking to help those in need. My name is Lucius, and I happened upon this town while looking for the next opportunity to fight off the undead army. You there! You were the soldiers that came in from the south. With me! The undead monster's head seems very nasty. While I was fighting off a skeleton, I turned to see a soldier ushering me towards him. Wait, how did he know I came from the south? We'll push through this group and regroup with Captain Roderick and his men in the garrison. If you're handy with that weapon of yours, now would be a good time to use it. I seemed a little bit confused as I just used my sword to fight the skeleton. Well, maybe he was just caught up in the situation and didn't see me fighting. I then rushed to him and saw him slash at the zombie. Nice one, I must admit that I took you for an amateur, but now we must survive this just yet. I had an even more confused face after this comment made by this soldier. I wanted to laugh, but I thought it was a really bad idea as we're still being attacked. By my side, let's take them down together. The soldier screamed once more. Sure, I just replied very simply because I'm concerned of the state of mind of this soldier, although maybe he hasn't rested enough. Despite being confused, I launched at the zombie and killed it without getting a single scratch. Well fought! Let's get a move on before more of them come. The garrison is just up ahead. The soldier finally said something reasonable after he rambled so much. I could use some rest after traveling for so long. A short while after, with no more incidents, the Silverkeep soldiers and I arrived safely in the garrison. Welcome to the garrison. It isn't much, but it'll have to do on such short notice, the soldier proclaimed. Where are my manners? I'm Officer Aaron of the Town's Guard. Wish we had met under better circumstances, naturally. Finally, Officer Aaron gave me his name. It's bad manners to keep calling him the soldier. This here is our guild hall. We've converted it to house survivors like yourself, so make yourself at home. What do you mean a survivor? I'm an adventurer. I'm here to help, not hide. In the meantime, you should speak with Captain Roderick. He's in charge around here. So, Officer Aaron led me to Captain Roderick's quarters. Captain, we have a sword hand with us. Pretty handy with that blade of his, from what I've seen. I am just here to help, not enlist. At ease, Officer Aaron, and greetings, traveler. Your arrival to our fair city couldn't have come at a worse time. Well, I'm here to help you to get to a better time. The undead curse that lays on this land has been a thorn in our side for centuries. But an attack of this magnitude? Unheard of. Foul magic has disabled the waypoints as well. Smells like the work of enemy action if you ask me. Officer Aaron added. For once, I agreed with Officer Aaron. Indeed, officer. Anyways, Captain Roderick's the name. I'm in charge of this garrison. We've already evacuated the civilians to High Home before the incident with the waypoints. So it's just battle essential personnel here. Well, I really do hope those civilians got to High Home safely. The situation's dire. We got our hands full tending to the injured. So I urge you to help my men push back the undead in the immediate area. The dead outnumber us 3-1 out there. Yes, that's what I'm here to do. My most pressing concern now is the garrison's storehouse up north. It's been overtaken by local gangs. But if you can wrestle control back from them, it will greatly help the defense effort. No problem, Captain, I concurred. Leave it to us, sire. I've got a good feeling about this one, Officer Aaron followed up. And it's probably because I'm here to help you. Godspeed, and keep your wits about you out there. Before we leave, let's see if you can recruit some help from the guild hall. Officer Aaron came with a great suggestion. Yeah, despite being so good at killing, I do need someone to help me. Things will go a lot smoother with another pair of hands. I couldn't agree more. Before we went to hire some new party members, I decided to stop by at the sanctuary. By the light, you look like you've seen better days. I will do what I can to heal your wounds, but anything beyond that? Well, resources are strained at the moment because we need to fend off the undead. Please do what you can to protect this town here. If needed, return here for more healing. Light guides you, traveler. Wow, that was Sister Ophelia, and she seemed so holy. I could barely take my eyes off her, but I knew my duties were much greater. I forced myself to turn around and head straight into the guild hall. The interior is wide and airy, originally designed to accommodate crowds for the town's festivities. Now, it is a temporary refuge for sullen-faced adventurers nursing all manners of injuries. Most of them shirked away as I approached them, knowing that I would lead them back out there again. I was actually about to call it for now when I ran into a fellow adventurer. If you're heading out there, you're going to need someone who knows the city streets. This is Alphonse the Scoundrel, one of the most street-savvy adventurers here. It looked like he wanted to join me, and I could appreciate his sharp senses and street savvy. Now that I'm ready with everything, I went to Officer Aaron as he is joining us in our first fights. Ready to head out? We'll have to loop around the garrison to get to the storehouse. Okay, fine. We'll have to kill the undead sooner or later, so might as well be sooner. Steady as we go. If things start getting too tough, we should head back to Sister Ophelia for healing. Please, really? Healing is definitely one of our last worries. And so, we headed into our first fight. Alphonse was the first one to act. He tried to pull out the blade from his sleeves, but instead pulled out a boot. And not being discouraged, he swiftly struck one of the zombies and then finished it off with some lightning speed stabs. Officer Aaron was next, but he just struck one of the zombies lightly, not dealing much damage. Picking up his slack, I lunged at that zombie, killing it. Then I double slashed the zombie right next to it, weakening it significantly to be killed by Officer Aaron. That was actually really easy. We can totally do this. Very much the same strategy and getting used to finding these undead, we blasted through the very next fight without a scratch. The third group of undead, we encountered an epic sword wielding a skeleton. Still, no matter the difficulty, we will prevail. Officer Aaron started by striking this epic skeleton. It was not effective. However, Alphonse pulled out a knife and started stabbing the epic skeleton. Shouldn't we take out his underlings first though? So I lunged at the skeleton marksman, killing it with Captain Aaron's help. Then I double slashed the other normal looking skeleton trying to take it down. However, it wasn't good enough, so I readied my stance to block oncoming attacks. Captain Aaron was unfortunate enough to take a hit, but at least it's not me. The other skeleton did try to hit me, but I was able to fend it off with my sword. Then the normal looking skeleton tried to flee, but it seemed to be a light touch away from dying, so Alphonse finished it off with a couple stabs. I, on the other hand, was too close to the epic skeleton, so I could only block, but I did double slash it when it looked away. I guess it was also scared of being killed, so it just went to the defensive stance. But that's no match for the three of us. We just ganged up on it, using everything in our arsenal. And alas, victory! You've certainly got a knack for staying alive. The garrison should be a little safer now, with your help. Ha 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 ha, I'm great. That leaves our main objective, the garrison storehouse. It's right up ahead and through the streets. We have to barricade it off from the garrison when the bandits attacked. With luck, we'll be able to deal with them without too much trouble. Well, no matter the challenge, we will take it face first. On the way to the storehouse, I passed by 3 soldiers nursing an assortment of injuries. They advised me caution when dealing with the bandits. Front door's blockaded and they'll have crossbows waiting for you if you get in, one of them advised. No worries, mate. I got this. Down the road, I arrived at the garrison storehouse. A bandit peered out from an arrow slit on the 2nd floor. Scram, unless you got the death wish, he sneered, before heading back inside. Well, I won't let that get me down. The front door wouldn't budge when I tried pushing on it. It might have given way with some force, but the earlier soldier's warning came into my mind. I convinced the party to take its advice and skirted into a narrow side alley, looking for another point of entry. With Alphonse's help, we spotted faint scarf marks on the far wall, likely made by steel-toed boots. On further inspection, we spotted a few good handholds on an uneven patch of the wall, which my party and I could use to climb up to the storehouse roof. Still, in order to get up, Officer Aaron had to give me a boost, then to Alphonse. We couldn't reach the handholds very easily. Finally, we pulled Aaron up and readied ourselves to enter the storehouse. Stealthily, we saw a couple of bandit leaders rummaging through the various supply crates. With my advantage of surprise, I estimated that Officer Aaron and Alphonse could take out 2 of them. My armor was too noisy and could alert the bandits of our presence, so I waited for the opportunity to strike. Cautiously moving across the rafters, I waited for the both of them to move into place. With one simple hand signal, they both leapt down, landing on 1 bandit each and knocking them out cold. And then, there was only one. Alphonse, hiding in the shadows, swiftly sneaked up to the bandit leader and attacked him from the back, dealing massive damage. I was last to drop from the ceiling, but readied myself to lunge straight at the bandit and finish him off with a quick double slash. A victory for us! Let's head back to the garrison, Officer Aaron exclaimed. Yes, very good. Let's report back to Captain Roderick. The road back was unsafe and uneventful since all undead were eliminated. We were greeted by Captain Roderick immediately as we entered the barracks. Excellent work out there, Officer Aaron. Head over with some of the reserves to secure the area, Captain Roderick ordered the officer. Right away, Captain! Then, Captain Roderick turned to address me. Now, even as we speak, there are battles being waged on multiple fronts along the outer perimeters of the garrison. A few adventurers like yourselves have been dispatched to 2 checkpoints to hold the line. My resources are stretched thin as it is. I'll need you to head out to support the defense force. Make sure none of the undead break through. Yes, more slaying, more rewards. These undead were pieces of cakes in my books. After asking a local guard who was guarding at each checkpoint, I decided we should go to the one with the pretty girl. The other guy can wait. I could ask her to join our party. It's too stale having only 2 guys here. Reinforcements, at last! Ooh, she has a pretty voice. There's a big group of undead ahead that needs to be dealt with. Brace yourself. No time to chit-chat. We joined her group as soon as possible and started fending off the upcoming horde. There are only 3 of them in the frontier, but I do see some in the distance that more of them are coming. No doubt we had to fish them off ASAP. Alphonse, being the stealthy guy he is, sneaked up to one zombie and killed it immediately. Similarly, I joined the fight by lunging at a skeleton marksman and finished him off with a slash. Catherine, our fellow adventurer, casted righteous blow on the final skeleton and he was killed by the defending guard. Of course, that's not the end of them. The first wave of the enemies we killed quickly enough that these 3 reinforcement undead shouldn't be any problem. Ha 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 ha, we have been waiting for you. Alphonse tried to pull out a dagger, but instead pulled out a hat. Still, he was able to stab the zombie 2 times. Better than nothing. Picking up his slack, I lunged at the zombie, killing it instantly. With a swift turn towards the right, I cut off the escape route of the skeleton marksman and slashed it to death. Even though it was already dead, I individually broke each bone to make sure it couldn't piece itself together anymore. I guess I was too focused on this one skeleton and my team was not strong enough to prevent the skeleton swordsman from approaching me. So he rushed me, injuring me in the process. Fortunately though, I only suffered a slight cut, and Alphonse was quick enough to rush to my side to kill him instantly. My face turned quite serious as I see 3 more skeletons join the fight. One of them is even an elite. I think everyone panicked a bit when the elite skeleton showed up. We were just defending against the undead, not really focusing on killing one first. Still, I think because they're just undead, they don't really have any strategy. 2 of them went for Alphonse behind the barricade, but was blocked off. The elite did go for Catherine, but her armor did prevent her from taking too much damage. However, she did take a full hit to the chest. Don't know how much damage that will do. As one more skeleton reinforced their ranks, it really started to become overwhelming. Though I believe that was it, I couldn't see any other undead in the distance. If you can fend off these 4 undead, we were golden. Alphonse, being the sneaky assassin he is, stabbed the weak skeleton about to fall apart, killing it straight away. Meanwhile, I was fending off the elite, slashing it several times. The newly joined skeleton swordsman tried to rush Catherine, but this time she was prepared and fended it off with her mace. Even though I said these undead aren't that smart, the elite clearly is much smarter as he goes into a defensive stance, unlike the zombie that just kept on scratching at the barricade. Though this time, the barricade fell. Fastest to react as always, Alphonse sneaked up to the skeleton swordsman, dealing massive damage to it. Unbeknownst to me, he somehow turned around and stabbed the zombie before retreating back to the darkness. The swordman should be dead, but I guess not quite. Unable to reach the swordman in time, I just went for the zombie, slashing it for the kill. Then I spun around to launch straight at the elite, then double slashing it after. All of them should be very close to dead, but our 2 companions here didn't do much damage at all to them, allowing them to retaliate. Even though Catherine was able to fend off the attack, it would be so much safer to have just killed them. Anyways, with a couple more stabbing, lunging, and slashing, we defeated the swordsman and the elite without suffering any more injuries. The other end of the garrison might need aid as well. We should hurry over. Hold on just a second. We just finished a very prolonged battle. Let us take a rest first. On this short travel to the other end of the garrison, Catherine seemed to have taken a liking to our party and wanted to join. Of course, you are very welcomed. Yes, ha! My plan worked. Just as we got close to the other end, we heard a scream. Over here! The undead are about to break through! The adventurer, Bertram, stationed at this post, yelled. Yep, that's why we are here. To stop that. To arms! Let the fight begin. Immediately, Alphonse faded into the shadows and emerged to take out one skeleton straight away. I was right behind him to lunge and killed another skeleton. Then I put up a defensive stance for upcoming attacks that are most likely to happen. Catherine followed me and used holy force on one of the skeleton swordsmen and bashed it to death with her mace. However, one skeleton swordsman remained to rush me. Good thing I was in my defensive stance. As expected, 3 more skeletons joined the fight. It's gonna be another long defense. Alphonse was not prepared for the second wave and was able to just stab the swordsman a couple of times. Good thing Bertram used Impaling Shot and impaled one normal skeleton against the wall, killing it instantly. I, on the other hand, launched at the same swordsman Alphonse had stabbed earlier, finally killing it. The skeleton has lived too long. After that, I slashed twice at one of the marksmen. It apparently wasn't good enough for the kill. Flustered by it, I didn't finish it off. However, Catherine came in to the rescue and just whacked it on the head. I guess you owe me one? Yeah, I guess I do. Then she turned around to cast Debilitating Bolt at the last marksman, making it vulnerable for the next incoming attack. One of the guardsmen charged at it and struck it, killing it. It would not have worked without the Debilitating Bolt. Another 3 skeletons came into range, but this time there's an elite marksman. Still, despite the elite monster, we should take care of the lesser undead first. And so, Alphonse slashed and stabs the zombie to death right from the get-go. Bertram shot from afar, damaging the simple skeleton, but it was I who launched at it and killed it after. Good job, Bertram anyways. After his minions died, we just all focused on our attacks on the elite skeleton marksman. It was too tough though. Annoyed, it shot a bunch of arrows at us, damaging everyone present. Ow, everyone alright? Alphonse yelled. Angered by the damage, Alphonse systematically analyzed the elite marksman and struck it harder than normal. Teetering on the brink of death, the elite could do nothing but suffer as he watched Catherine miss her smite, hitting another skeleton, and finally killing it with a simple strike. Smote, the other skeleton was on its final leg. However, Catherine simply ended its misery with a debilitating bolt. Not much of a quick death now, is it? And then, there was one. Everyone just focused on it and quickly killed it to finish the job. Wait, what? What was that skeleton swordsman doing? It was late to the party. We were confused, but we just shrugged our shoulders and surrounded the skeleton, killing it effortlessly. It just wanted some attention for itself? Not a moment too soon. Let's head back to update Captain Roderick, Bertram advised us. Yeah, we know what to do. Our first day here was eventful, but not difficult. Simple tasks all around. We finally built our adventure group. Excited by our accomplishments, we headed back to Captain Roderick. Unbeknownst to us, we were headed into something much deeper and much darker. As soon as we entered the room, a chill ran across my spine as I saw dozens of mages strewn across the floor and study tables, their bodies dried and shriveled. My premonition of doom grew stronger. I was quite certain that something bad would appear soon.